recently I had my passport. I had to get it renewed. I sent it back, comes back gender marker M. Screws everything up. So there's a form in there. If they made a mistake, you can correct it. So I fill out all the proper forms. I'm not calling anybody. I'm not calling the president. You know, I got his personal cell number. I'm not calling anybody. I'm going to see if I can fix this myself. I did everything. And they sent it back M. They didn't change it at all. I don't blame President Trump. I love him. But for a lot of people, this is a huge issue. I was in Mar-a-Lago 2 months ago, wrote a letter explaining all of this to him, how it's affecting me and a lot of other people. And unfortunately, he wasn't there that weekend. Actually, the Secret Service guy said he could get it to him, put it on his desk and stuff. I haven't heard from him. He's kind of busy right now.
Caitlyn Jenner talked about how new passport policies are keeping her from traveling. Take a look.
This is a safety factor, okay? I can't travel internationally anymore, okay? I can't use my passport. I was in Mar-a-Lago 2 months ago, wrote a letter explaining all of this to him, how it's affecting me and a lot of other people. I haven't heard from him. He's kind of busy right now.
Okay, so what's going on? What is going on here? Did Caitlyn Jenner not realize that when they said they were going to put your natural birth biological sign on your passport, that included her as well? Did she think she had a pass? I mean, listen, you know, we always say at the table, you really better think about what you're voting for, because what's good for the goose seems to not be good for the gander, in your opinion. And yet we told you, this is what this means.
During Trump's re-election bid, Caitlyn Jenner was among the people who stunted real hard for him. Do you remember when she said, "We must restore world peace by re-electing Donald Trump"? World peace? How's that going? Not great for a bunch of people. Not going great for Caitlyn Jenner either, but I'm not talking about that little conflict in Iran. No, I'm referring to reports that Caitlyn Jenner is appealing to Trump, saying she cannot travel after passport gender changed to male. She renewed her passport when she got it, now says male instead of female to reflect what she was assigned at birth, and she can't travel internationally. And she says she's reached out to Trump, but so far she hasn't heard back from him. That's funny. It's almost like he doesn't need you anymore. Oh, the slug who voted for salt wants to know why the salt is burning her skin. The woman who decided to hug the leopard is now asking, why is the leopard eating my face? To quote Anna Navarro of The View, cry me a fucking river. And the worst part is, you'll get it fixed. You'll get a hold of him, or he'll see the articles or whatever, and your passport will be fixed. But hundreds and thousands of other trans people will not have that luxury, and you won't give a shit. Because if it isn't personally affecting you, you don't care. And that's why you deserve to have the leopards eat your face.
Well. It looks like Miss Caitlyn Jenner is learning that politics can hit close to home. So recent reports have shown that Caitlyn Jenner has been having issues getting her identity properly reflected on her passport. You voted for this man. What did you expect? You thought you was special? Y'all listen and listen good. When you support systems that affect your community, you can't be surprised at the outcome. When policies affect other people, it's easy to ignore. But when it lands in your own lap, now suddenly it matters. Doesn't work that way. Surprise, surprise.
Oh no, the policy you supported from the candidate you voted for is now affecting you negatively. So, of course, it's a problem. Caitlyn Jenner just went to Donald Trump asking for help because a passport policy tied to his administration is now affecting her personally. The rule basically says your passport has to reflect your sex assigned at birth, not your gender identity, which means people who have already transitioned, already updated their documents, can now have that reversed. And that's exactly what she's saying happened to her. She apparently can't use her passport to travel internationally anymore. And it's like, Yeah, like, that's what people have been warning about this entire time. This is what the trans community was scared about and what they were warning people may happen. Trans people have been saying this is exactly how these policies play out in real life. But now that it's affecting you, because you were told that this was going to happen, now all of a sudden it's a problem. Now there's safety concerns. Now it matters because you did not care when you knew this would affect others in the trans community with less money and less connections than Caitlyn Jenner has. And the part that really gets me is she's still publicly supporting him while begging him to fix it. Like, you got exactly what you voted for. I don't know why you're complaining. I don't know what you're expecting to be fixed. You just didn't think that it would apply to you. This is how it goes. This is how it goes. You knew exactly what you were voting for, and now you got it. Deal with the consequences like the rest of us have to.
Looks like Caitlyn Jenner is learning that once you transition, that white male privilege does not transition over with you. Well, so Caitlyn Jenner is appealing to Trump, saying that it's unsafe for her to travel because she recently had to update her passport and her gender marker was changed to male. This is because of Trump's anti-trans policies and executive orders, and namely the one stating that on all federal documents, a person's gender marker must correspond with the sex they were assigned at birth. My question is, Caitlyn, think about it, and I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. What, and I cannot stress this enough, the fuck did you think was gonna happen? Because Caitlyn Jenner has been very vocal about being pro-Trump. In fact, even after all this, she still says that she supports Donald Trump. Yikes on bike. So how are you confused that there's a hole in your foot after you've just shot yourself at point blank range? If Johnny had 5 apples. This is why I can never understand when any person from any minority group says that they support Trump. It's giving trees for deforestation and turtles for plastic straws. Because again, Trump was very vocal about everything that he planned to do. Y'all just thought that it was only going to affect other people. I need y'all to understand that unless you are a straight, white, rich man, the Trump administration is going to negatively impact your life in some way, shape, or form. And honestly, my solemnest prayer to Sky Daddy is that y'all continue to get every single thing y'all voted for. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
It's Joe from Georgia. Well, you do get what you vote for sometimes, and we don't have to go far to ask Caitlyn Jenner who she voted for, and she said she voted for Donald Trump. Well, now Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, she's a transgendered woman, is having a problem with international travel, and it's because of a program that the Trump administration put in for passports. Well, Caitlyn Jenner says she's having a very difficult time traveling and doesn't feel safe because the passport has that she is a man on it. It has an M. She's lost that identifier of an F because of a policy put through by the Trump administration against transsexual people. So what does she want the president to do? She wants the president to allow her to keep her designation with the F on her passport. Yes, but Caitlyn, this is what you voted for. There are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people in the same boat that you're in. But as usual, with money and fame, I guess, comes a arrogance of getting what you want. Well, you voted for this and you didn't get it.
Why the hell is Caitlyn Jenner acting like she's so surprised that she has now become a victim of her own decisions? Why the hell do any of these people think that this would play out any differently? You've elected a man that has absolutely no interest in equality or inclusion or gay rights or racial equality or any other kind of harmony in this country or anywhere else for that matter. This man doesn't stand for that. He has absolutely no interest in it whatsoever. And Caitlyn Jenner is acting so surprised that she's now become a victim of her own choices. Well, I guess we've now really found the fuck around and find out stage, and Caitlyn Jenner is right around towards that find out part, I think.
Everyone knows who Caitlyn Jenner is, right? As in Bruce Jenner. Well, baby, I don't know what Caitlyn was on today, but she was expressing her concern regarding her getting everything changed on her passport, but then it was flagged and returned as not female but male, and she still was expressing her love for Trump. She says she's not blaming him when it comes to these new transgender policies, and she says, I'm not blaming him. Well, you should blame him because he is the reason why these things are changing. Does she realize what she just said? Because it very well has something to do with Trump. It is his policies. So in other words, strip me of my rights, but I still love you. That's exactly how I took it. So you're still confessing your love for Trump, MAGA, or whatever, but your rights are stripped. Oh, okay.
Caitlyn Jenner still supporting Trump while she complains about him making her life more dangerous because her passport now says male is like you talk about Trump derangement syndrome. That is it right there. The cognitive dissonance between like, oh my God, my life as a super wealthy, famous trans woman has gotten more dangerous. And she can't even like extrapolate in her mind how that impacts not famous, not super wealthy trans people who are living ordinary lives without VIP protections wherever they go. She's like, I still love him. I still love what he's doing. But he's made my life more dangerous. Like the cognitive dissonance, that is Trump derangement syndrome, and it's crazy.
You saw this article about Caitlyn Jenner. She's a famous trans lady, and she was complaining on a conservative podcast that her passport was renewed as an M gender. This is because of an executive order. And she feels anxiety. She said it's an issue of safety, carrying these documents to the airport and trying to travel, and how, what is she going to do? And I just want to say one thing. No matter how much money you have, no matter how close you are to power, no matter how right kind of queer you are, no matter how many hits you do on Fox News as a trans person complaining about trans people, discrimination's coming for you. Transphobia is coming for you too. When bigotry is allowed to thrive, it's coming for everyone.
And this, my friends, is what it looks like when your privilege starts to run out and you've used your privilege to further marginalize or oppressed already marginalized people because it benefits you. And then you get reminded that you're still a part of that marginalized group and that you're not any more special.
ID. So somebody in my position who has transitioned, I worked very, very hard to make sure everything was changed. I love President Trump, and I think he signed this executive order. I don't know who underneath him was putting this thing together, that all federal documents, it has to be your biological sex at birth. Recently, I had my passport. I had to get it renewed. Comes back gender marker M, because it's not.
And what's so interesting about this is that Caitlyn Jenner positioned herself to be an advocate and a spokesperson for said president. Like, Caitlyn Jenner was really pushing for this person to be the president, even in spite of knowing everything that that person said that they had planned to do to the trans community. It wasn't enough for Caitlyn Jenner because Caitlyn Jenner is rich. Because Caitlyn Jenner feels like she's above everybody else. And this is not just something that happens in the trans community. This is something that happens in all oppressed communities. There's always those one or two people who will be praised for whatever reason by the people who are doing the oppressing, and they'll join that group until they realize or they're reminded that they're not actually a part of that group and they were just being used.
I didn't think the leopards would eat my face. I can't travel internationally anymore. I can't use my passport. Caitlyn Jenner told Tommy Loren in a recent interview. So we all know Caitlyn Jenner transitioned in 2015, and despite transitioning to the LGBTQ community, she still was a big advocate for Donald Trump and Make America Great Again. But if you didn't know, Donald Trump made an executive order last year. So going forward, whenever you renew your passport, whatever you were born as, that's what you have to put on your passport. So if you were born a male, even though you transitioned to a female, you have to put the M and not the F on your passport. And Caitlyn Jenner had to renew her passport, and now going forward on her passport, it says M instead of F. And that's why Caitlyn Jenner feels that she can't travel internationally anymore. I can't use my passport. And now she is reaching out to Donald Trump and asking for help. But also keep in mind that Caitlyn Jenner doesn't blame President Trump. I love him. Well, Caitlyn Jenner, I hope all of the love you have for Donald Trump is going to help you when you're uncomfortable in the airports if you ever travel internationally going forward. I hope it was worth it, but this is what happens when you align with bigotry and you think it's never going to affect you. Eventually, the leopards are going to eat your face, and now you are feeling it, and you want Donald Trump to do something for you, and it's just like, this is what you signed up for at the end of the day. I hope it was worth it.
Most people who vote for far-right parties, especially marginalized people who do it, never expect to experience the consequences of their actions. And it's this very expectation that the far-right relies on in order to win. Once you drill down to what the far-right actually want to do, it's not appealing to most working people. So they need to have popular appeal in order to get elected. And that's where the scapegoat comes in. The community that gets thrown under the bus so that a far-right party can get popular. These days, it's trans people and immigrants. So then why do trans people like Caitlyn Jenner or brown women like Priyanka Chopra continuously align themselves with these right-wing figures? In the case of those two celebrity women, they embody the pick-me energy. I mean, they've clearly managed to get some way in life, and they probably did it by kissing a lot of ass and always putting their own individual interests before that of their community. But they play this really important role in representation. As we all know, representation does make a difference. And so they operate as this sort of proof to everyday working people who are also marginalized, e.g., working trans people, working people of color, as like a, hey, see, nothing bad will happen to you if you align yourself with us. You'll be fine. In fact, you'll be so rich. And people don't see themselves as the bad immigrants or the bad queers that the far right likes to paint as the boogeyman. Like, oh, I didn't overstay my visa. I'm not like that. I'll be fine. Somehow not being able to compute that the people running these stories don't care. They don't care enough about you to ask whether you came in the proper way, whether you overstayed your visa, whether you came by boat or plane. They just take one look at you, decide you're an outsider, and treat you like one. But these people, they don't see themselves as outsiders. So desperate to fit in. They're so desperate to be liked. They're so desperately desperate to be known. So we see again and again these pick-me's, they're only able to rise to a certain point, and then they get put back down to where they belong, according to these right-wing types.
I just know a letter hates to see a Trump supporter coming. Like, why do they all want to write letters to Trump? This is just what happens when you think you are the exception to the rule. Trump said what he said during this election run in 24. He did not stutter. He said what he said. There are no exceptions. So you mean to tell me your BFF did not answer your request? How surprising. But sorry, Caitlyn, you're not an exception. I hate to break it to you, and I'm sure you're obviously able to see at this point that the rules are going to apply to all transgender people. And it's sorry you had to find out this way, but I don't feel bad because this is who you chose to align yourself with. If you were truly wanting to help out other people and avoid others from having this issue, then you wouldn't have voted the way that you did. But you probably thought, and this is just me speculating, I have no basis on this, but you probably thought, oh, I'm good friends with the president. Oh, if something ever happens with my paperwork or my documents, I could probably go to him directly to get that handled. Even though she did say that she tried to do it without calling him. I mean, she has his own personal direct number and all. I mean, it should be as easy as a dial to his line and everything is all straightened out, but doesn't look like that happened, and he's leaving you left on red. And that's just the harsh reality, and we say this every video, the harsh reality of what happens when everything is fine and dandy until it affects you personally. There are so much more important things going on in the world in comparison to this, and I think even Caitlyn knows that, hence why she said, I think he's busy right now. Yeah, I'm sure he's very busy, that he couldn't get to your request right now, but this is very low on the totem pole. But at the same time, it's still very important, because this means if this is happening to you, his quote-unquote BFF, oh, I was just at Mar-a-Lago 2 months ago, but he wasn't there. If it's happening to you with all of this money and fame and notoriety, then imagine how a regular trans person is feeling when they can't get all of their documents and passport and identification in order. Think about how hard it is for the common person to be able to get everything taken care of. But this is what happens when you vote for people who don't see you for who you want to be seen as, and they want to see you as the person and the sex that you were born as. Don't get me wrong, I understand that it's probably frustrating, but like I'm going to probably almost start saying in every video, don't quote me on that, but I voted for you to have that ability for your passport to say gender marker F. You voted for it to be an M for everyone else who's a transgender woman, but you thought your money and your closeness and proximity to Trump was going to help you to where you didn't think you had that problem. And you thought your proximity to Trump was going to help you to not have to deal with that type of problem. But I think you're seeing that that's not the case. And it's unfortunate, because little things like this impact people's lives, and people who voted this way just don't see that. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, that's one thing, but if it's not affecting you, then why is it any of your business what someone wants to identify themselves as? Like, that's not impacting my life. It's not doing anything. It's not hurting anybody. So why is it so important to you to have somebody's sex at birth be listed on their documents when that's not how they want to identify themselves anymore? This is what happens again when you want to align yourself with the party of people who don't want to see you as you are. I saw a couple people from the right who are Trump supporters. They were mocking and laughing in your face about it, and they calling you a man. They're calling you he, him. They do not want to refer to you as a woman. And that's a shame, because that's none of these people's business what you want to refer to yourself as. But that's how the disrespect goes. They do not see you as a person. They only see you as a joke. But you still want to be close in proximity with these people. And like the one creator says, you're just trying to be a pick-me about it. And I get it, you're a lifelong Republican. If the Republican candidate does not check all the boxes in what, personally matters to you, why would you still vote for them? If you voted Republican, just because you vote Democrat one time doesn't mean you're all of a sudden a Democrat. You can still go back to voting Republican in future elections. With Kamala, you probably wouldn't have had to deal with this, because Kamala would be seeing you as a female and would refer to you as one as well. And she would respect the fact that you want to keep all of your documents in line with how you identify yourself as, along with everyone else in the country who are transgender. She would want to make sure that her policies fall in line with that. But no, you voted against that. You went in that voting booth and you wanted to oppress everyone else because you thought that it wouldn't be a problem for you because you're friends with Trump. And where's that friendship getting you? He's not even answering. Well, I mean, I can't say that because I don't see anywhere where she said that she actually called him. But that letter got no response. Let's be real here. That letter probably never even got in front of Trump. Let's be all the way upfront about it. That's just what I think. I mean, maybe, if other people are friends with her in his cabinet or amongst like his aides or whatever you call like the people close to him, maybe it did. But if I had to guess, I don't even think Trump ever saw this letter. But let's see if he responds. It's out there. The interview has been had. Let's see if he will even respect you enough to give you a response or at least lie to your face and pretend like he's going to handle it. We'll be waiting to see what happens with that, but it didn't have to be this way. You voted along the lines to oppress everyone else, but now you're seeing that you are with everyone else and you don't get any special treatment. And it's funny because when you were on Tomi Lahren's show, she had to pretend and sit there like she was hearing you out, and she had to pretend like she was feeling bad. Now, again, I don't want to talk too much about that because I definitely didn't watch the whole interview. Let me know if you did down below, and let me know if she sympathized with her in any way or tried to maybe give like some solution. But this woman does not agree with your lifestyle, but yet you're on her podcast as well, and she has to pretend to hear you out when she doesn't care because she doesn't see you as a female most likely either. That she just sees you as a man with makeup and long hair wearing women's clothes. She would probably refuse to refer to you as a woman. Of course, like I said, let me know down below if she referred to Caitlyn as she, her. I could be wrong. Maybe she did. I would think if she was a guest on the show, she would respect her that much to do so. And I do see a lot of people misgendering her because, of this situation and it affecting her. If you went into that voting booth and still voted for Trump, then if no one wants to respect that and still refer to you as your old identity of a man, then that's what they're going to do. But I'm going to be respectful for all transgender people who may or may not see this. I don't know if this is going to get into the algorithm or not, probably not, but I'm going to refer to you as she, her, because that's out of respect to you. I at least have respect enough to do that, but you didn't have respect enough for your other peers in your community and the entire LGBTQ plus community as a whole to vote for the candidate who would have had your best interests in mind. But yet you just went to the proximity and who you felt was going to be good for your pockets. That's what you voted for. We shall see if anything else comes from this. I mean, it's only been a few days. We'll see if Trump ever responds. I'm sure maybe a reporter may bring this up in a press conference or something. I'd be definitely interested to see what he says. We'll see what he comes out and says because I'm sure it's going to come up at some point. But if it doesn't, it's just going to go to show you that he just doesn't care. You could be his BFF, a good friend of his, and if your issue doesn't matter to him, he's just going to sit there and ignore it like he does everyone else, like we've seen in all these other FAFO videos, all these regular Joe Schmo people pleading with him to save their forms, to help get them better health care and stuff, make food and gas affordable. He's just letting that fall on the wayside, and he's just going to do what he wants. And whatever he says goes. He doesn't care how loyal you are to him. He is going to do what he sees fit. And that's just what it is. And I hope that you are realizing it. It's a small issue. I mean, you don't have to travel internationally to save your life. I mean, at least as of now, it's just what it is. That's what happens when you get what you voted for, but that's not really what you want. But anyway, you guys, we could go on and on about this topic, but just keep in mind with how many people and how many groups and communities are being affected by this, and that's what they voted for, but they're just not getting it. And notice how she still says she loves him, is still a part of that derangement syndrome like one of the creators had in their video. It's like he could be doing them wrong in the biggest way, but they still refuse to blame him. I'm not even saying you have to say that you don't like him anymore. You could just at least say you're disappointed, but no, you want to still maintain that proximity to him, and you don't want to burn that bridge. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of understandable, but at this rate, if he's not even wanting to honor your simple request, then why is there a bridge to begin with? But I'm sure there's additional benefits that she might be able to make a little donation for in the future, so she probably doesn't want to completely shut everything down. But of course, let me know what you guys think about this topic down below. I definitely wanted to talk about this before, the news cycle leaves it behind. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, because that would really also help to grow the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it, of course. And that's all I have. If you made it this far, I appreciate you as always, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Bye. See you later.